The Star.
Yeah, y'all already know. Seven the pan. That dude Fizz on the beat. Yeah. We live in entertainment. Sound change. Crown the kings, homie. This is where it get ill. About to have the tip off live as a tip drill. From the court to the diamond, to the track, to the big skin, flying around the field, starting five forever, keeping it real. If it matters in the world of sports, blue jeans and long sleeves, they taking no shorts. Hot to death, oh yes, these other sports podcasts live as a pro's corpse. Biz market wave, the starting five goes off. No matter who you cheer for, emotions out the window, they analyzing with clear thoughts. They take it way deeper than the force ever. No longer got any use for them four letters. The latest news, score stats and the view from the sideline. Ain't no guideline, it's just the truth. Yeah, no need to dig for a pardon line. It's always in season if people start five. We going in on three, run the baseline, start five. We got what you need. If it's sports news you see, we don't waste time. We talking cause we live it. We got what you need. We going in on three, run the baseline, start five. We got what you need. And y'all know me, seven sign, I'm the illest cat spit. I got what you need.
We here, y'all.
What's up?
We back. Newest episode of the Star Five Podcast. Y'all know who I am already. Your boy the man at DJ named Ace 5, your mom's favorite fat guy, all the way from deepest, darkest Africa. The rest of the brothers is gonna be in probably in a little bit after hopefully this Knicks win. Because I believe we're still up. Are we still up?
Yeah, he's still up. Still up
What's
with
up?
26 seconds left. What's up
Okay.
is good. First, I want to start off just by saying, still in it. You know what I mean? Still in it. You know, everybody was taught bringing the brooms out. Put your brooms away. Put your vacuum cleaners away. Put all your little things away because there was not a sweep last night. Lakers are still in it. You know, there's still a chance for that 18 to go on this belt. Yeah, I mean, you might have to get a new one with the 18 on it because there's still a chance. You know, that's all I want to say right there.
Yeah, you probably should have got that as like a side plate, something that you could change out. You know what I'm saying? Something you could change out. That would have been better.
I'm just saying. So you know, my week was good. Lakers pulled it out last night, and I'm ready to see what these Knicks do in this last 30 seconds. But I'm ready to go today.
Word. Well, like I said, man, we waiting for the brothers to come through, man. But I mean, my week, it was a typical week for me. Just fucking work. I think I didn't work my day off Tuesday. So I had at least one day off this week. We went to some new buffet out here on the island. Pretty decent. It was an Asian seafood buffet. And I kept saying to myself, I was like, you know what? I think buffet, especially Asian buffets, Tyrone, I think Asian buffets are legit if 90% of the people that are sitting at the tables are Asian and they keep going back for more and more and more. So I don't know. Do you feel the same? Like, does that kind of certify like, okay, this food might be legit here at an Asian buffet and all Asians is there?
Oh, yeah, it does because it's like it's the same thing concept with our people. Like if you go to a fried chicken joint or like a barbecue joint or like you know like that kind of food place, and you don't see no black folks in there, you gonna be like, you know, you know what I'm saying. So it's the same concept. When I go in there and I see a bunch of Asians in there, and you know what, to be small people, when you go to them Asian buffets, for them to be small people, man, they be tearing that shit up. Them plates be vicious on them. I just be like, man, but I guess because they eat so much seafood that they don't get, you know, they don't get weight on them or something. Because some of them plates, dog, I'd be like, damn.
Yo, I there was a table that was like it was a booth that was like right in my right eye shot. and it was like the kids was getting fucking like big ass plates of crawfish, and then it didn't look like they even ate half of them. Like they was wasting. Like I saw one table wasting food, but other tables, nah, they was going in. Even the little kids was going in. Even the little kids was going crazy. But funny enough, I gotta give a shout out because if y'all don't know, I forgot to promote it a little better, but I'm gonna throw it up after today's show. The wrestling podcast is out. It's been out since Thursday. It's on the Starfire Podcast channel, wherever you can find the podcasts on the podcast streaming, not YouTube. But we talked about pay-per-views, right? The next night after we did the show, I was on shout outs to the homie Chris from Heals for Life, the show Heals for Life show and all that. He had all the usual suspects up there on the live. Angel, Hot Take Wrestling, my brother Light Skin Gaijin. Shout outs to Denard as always, good brother. Brother Ball Bro from the Bronx. And Ball Bro, he made a point because we talked about I say it all as to say we made a point where we were talking about pay-per-views on this week's podcast. And he made a statement within that because we was talking about I mentioned on their live something that I said on the podcast, which was I thought Dynasty was a better wrestled show than WrestleMania. And everybody, when I said that, everybody was like, whoa, wait a second. Wait, no, I said that I thought I enjoyed Dynasty more than WrestleMania. Everybody backed up like, whoa. I said, hear me out. I said, when it comes to the glitz and glamour and all that shit, WrestleMania has it hands down. The WWE has it hands down. No ifs, ands, or buts. Y'all got that. But when it came to what brings us to the show, the wrestling, Dynasty was far better. And then everybody finally goes like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I see it. I see it." One person, High Take, asked me, "Yo, which night?" I was like, "Both of them." He's like, maybe night one, but not night two. Cool is your opinion. But then within that conversation, Ball Bro had mentioned, he said, this is why I love wrestling and tying it into going to the buffet. He's like, wrestling is like one of the best like buffets in sports that you can get to because you can go and get a little bit of everything and be satisfied and be happy and be and I was just like, you know what, you're right. And then the funny thing about Dynamite is, when you go to every buffet, especially when you go to every Asian buffet, right? They always have something basic like fried chicken, French fries, or really terrible pizza. That was the Jericho and Hook match. They were the American food. Here's something for the kids. The French fries and the pizza at the buffet. While the rest of the pay-per-view was the crab legs, the crawfish, the fucking sushi and all of that.
Mhm.
And it was like it was a funny connection because when you go to a New York Asian buffet, you're always gonna see French fries, fried chicken wings, and a terrible looking pizza. I don't know. I haven't been to a buffet in Philly, but I'm sure it's the same shit.
Same shit. Same shit. But you know what though? The French fry and the terrible pizza and the fried chicken, right? It's something that still always finds its way onto at least one of my plates. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I know that it's not that great, but I still want it. It's like I don't want just sushi and just the crawfish and just the crab legs and just the seafood stuff, just the steak and the hoopla. I still always find a way to put at least one piece of that chicken and a couple of those French fries on my plate. Now I ain't touching that pizza, but the kids do. The kids like that pizza, but they also ate pizza at Chuck E. Cheese. So it's like, what do they know? But like I said though, even though I know that there's higher caliber foods there, I still do go and get that piece of chicken and them French fries. I still find that to be part of my plate. You know what I'm saying? So I want all of it. I kind of want everything, and that's how I want my wrestling too. You muted.
Yeah. I had to go into. I figured it out. I had to go to my page and share it to the group because I don't know what or why what StreamYard changed up, but it booted all my connections to our groups. So like the HHDG Media page, like HHDG Media Podcast, it kicked HHGG off the thing. It kicked the Starfire Podcast Facebook group off the thing. So I had to go in because I had to put it live from my page and then share it from my page to the group page. So hopefully people check in. But nonetheless, we're still on the live anyway, man. But yeah, I mean, what do we got this week? Of course, we got NBA playoffs. We
Well,
could talk a little bit of NFL draft. Like I messed up because I wanted to pull the whole draft situation up, but I believe that I'm sure the last round is today or sometime today if it didn't happen already. But what has been your take on what your commanders have done within this draft?
um,
Do you feel like they address needs? Do you think they just pick just to pick? What do you think?
oh, they definitely address needs. You know what I mean? Because the number one need is in the NFL is quarterback. Now, the quarterback they got, you know how I feel about that, but we still need a quarterback. We've never had a franchise quarterback, and maybe this guy might end up being that for us. I don't know. I got to see. But I was weirded out by the trade they made with the Eagles. I didn't understand that whole concept of that trade because I don't know what Washington. So the trade benefited the Eagles because they was able to move up to 40 and grab that corner. But I didn't know how the trade benefited Washington because it gave them an extra pick in the second round. But it was like, was that worth giving the Eagles the cornerback that they wanted? It was like, what was the point? We didn't get nothing extra. It was 3 picks for 3 picks. So I didn't understand that whole concept of that trade. And I was like, I was kind of pissed off that they did that.
Well, usually when stuff like that happens in the draft, uh, Washington may have had their sights on somebody and they may have been gone to where it's like, okay, we got our sights on a couple of other people. We don't see anybody else taking them. So why not, deal the trade when there's another team out there that sees somebody they want. And I think that was the pick where we got that kid DeJean from Iowa, right?
Yep.
Everybody's joking online like the white dude with the black ass name. Everybody's been joking online with that. But yeah, we went up to get that kid. I mean, our first two picks, I believe, were corners. We got a kid from Toledo who, when I looked up his stats on a TikTok that the Eagles made. Don't mind the alcohol, y'all. But a TikTok that the Eagles made, they showed like his 2022 season is one of, if not the top corner in the nation in 2022, though. There's a whole year after, but a lot of potential within this kid. And then this kid, Cooper DeJean, he was like, to my understanding, was like the talk of Iowa football and seems to be a playmaker and stuff like that. And, I just find it funny. We added white people to our secondary. We already got Blankenship back there at a safety, but we added another kid. Who knows how much time he's going to get right out the gate, but so far so good. But the only thing of note besides those two that I gave a damn about with my Philadelphia Eagles, I was super happy to see we drafted Jeremiah Trotter Jr. And man, listen, the kid he might not see the fields for the first couple years, but you brought the Axeman's son to Philadelphia. He was one of our greatest linebackers in the 2000s, in the early 2000s. And to bring his son along as Philadelphia Eagle, like just so much connective tissue that just made it so dope. Like, fucking Lori. When I watched the video, excuse the noise in the back, but I watched the TikTok of Harry Roseman calling to talk to him, say, "Hey, how you feel about being an Eagle? We're about to pick you. We're about to trade up to pick you." I think that was another trade with somebody else, but we're about to go up to come pick you. And then he talked to Sirianni, and then he talked to the owner, and it almost brought, if you was an Eagles fan, like it almost brought tears to the eyes, because
What
it was like, yo, he's like, at what age did I first meet you? He was like, maybe like 3 or 4, right? 3 or 4 years old, right? And you just see freaking Lori getting fucking emotional about it, because it was like, yo, I had your father. I seen you when you was a baby. I watched you come up, and to now you're a part of this family. Like, that was the dopest thing about the draft that I've seen so far.
is it though? Because I'm like, is he gonna help this team? Is he gonna contribute? Is he gonna be a good player in the NFL? I don't know about that kid. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, was this a sentimental pick, or did the Eagles do they really think like he's a piece for them?
Well,
You know what I
I
mean?
think he's a piece that is going to develop. Like, he's gonna develop, because I believe in, like, a lot of people's like mock draft boards, like they had him rated to go to other teams. Like, they had him rated probably higher than the 5th round pick that he got picked up at. And he fell to us in the 5th. Like, I take it. I take it. But it's the thing that, you're saying, is he going to be a fit? Is he going to be a help? This one of the misconceptions that I think a lot of people have when it comes to draft time. Like, everybody thinks when you're picking, especially when you're picking in the top 2 or 3 rounds, you're picking somebody that's supposed to be an automatic starter. That doesn't have to be, especially, and I'm not saying you, but it's just to the way you made the statement and have a conversation with other people. Like, people think that, like, you have to be like an automatic starter. Like, for instance, right? The Falcons picking Michael Penix Jr. with the first pick.
Terrible.
That you echoed the sentiments of somebody that works for me. And I was just like, I'm not saying I disagree with you, but I was finding the positive in how it makes sense. Yes, you just signed Kirk Cousins to a big contract, 180 million, half of it guaranteed. Cool. But there is nothing wrong with going to get somebody that you highly covet that might have to wait in the wings. Especially if it's, at quarterback position. Y'all should know how I feel about the quarterback. Not every quarterback, just because you was a 1st round pick, should be a day one starter. Now, unfortunately for Caleb Williams, that's gonna happen because Chicago got rid of their best option, which was Justin Fields. They got rid of him. But not every player, especially with the quarterback position, has to be a day one starter. They don't have to.
First pick, first round. Yes, he does. First pick, first round. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. That's the whole point. If you are in a team that has to win now, then your first pick, first round is a guy that's supposed to be put in to help you win now. That's the whole purpose, the whole plan of your first round, first pick.
But
When you
not
take
when
a
you're a
quarterback,
team that's not in a win now mode.
they signed the quarterback for $100 million because they're in a win now mode. You don't sign Kirk Cousins if you're not trying to win now, dude. Why would you sign Kirk Cousins if you're not trying to win now? Why would you pay that money for Kirk Cousins if you're not trying to win now? If you were in a rebuilding process, you don't sign Kirk Cousins. You rebuild. You pick a quarterback up in the draft. You get like a veteran minimum quarterback. You don't sign Kirk Cousins for over $100 million, give him $80 million guaranteed money if you ain't trying to win right now. And you could have got a wide receiver, you could have got a running back, you could have got somebody else on that team to help Kirk Cousins win now.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you
I agree. I
and
agree.
you picked up, use your first round first pick to pick up somebody that ain't gonna play at all for probably years.
Which
That
to me, you're picking up a guy who was one of the most talented players in college football in his time. The kid put up tremendous numbers both years he was in Washington. Just made it to a national championship game in Washington. But here's why I think it's now, yeah, they've kind of missed on a couple other players here and there. Like my man was saying, oh, they should have picked up this defensive player to help them out on the defensive end of the ball. But you picked up a quarterback with phenomenal talent who which this is gonna make it sound bad, had injury history. You know what I'm saying? He does have an injury history, but if you see potential in this kid that post Kirk Cousins down the line can be somebody legit, it don't hurt to go after what you as a team may feel is best available. Not going by these fucking air quotes draft experts. And I gotta say, draft experts. You know what I'm saying? Why the fuck? I threw up quotes and they gave me balloons. What the fuck was that about? But you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, these draft experts are just people who study the college guys, and they go by what they think they need with these teams. Maybe they felt we like this upside. We see an upside with this kid. Let's go get him now. Like, what is it gonna hurt us? And that's their choice. That's their decision. I ain't nobody to say whether they did right or wrong because it ain't my team. I'm an Eagles fan. I think my Eagles drafted well, filled in holes and players
Yeah.
that could be needed later. You know what I'm saying? But I'm okay with Atlanta picking up Michael Penix because it's like I said, the quarterback position doesn't need to be a start now position each and every year just because you drafted them number one. And what would make, in my opinion, something that makes people think that is the recent string of first round quarterbacks that actually panned out to be Joe Burrow, Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert. Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts was first round pick, but I think you picked him late or whatever. But not everybody is those players. Not everybody's hot out the gate, flat. Some people like you. I was going back, bringing up people like fucking what's his name, Johnny Manziel. Just thinking in like fairly recent times, like he was supposed to be that number one guy, and look where he panned out. If he had sat behind somebody for a little bit, maybe he'd still have a career because Baker Mayfield, he got threw out there from day one, went through all the bumps and bruises, ups and downs, ended up on people's benches, had to sit behind and learn behind some people. Now he's doing pretty good in Tampa. You know what I'm saying? And had a long career. Just the process went backwards for him. Went out the gate, started, it didn't work. Now you had to
Some teams,
fall back a little bit.
some teams in the draft have the luxury of picking the best now or the best player now or the player that's most talented now because they don't have, like, if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, if you teams that can, if you the Buffalo Bills, two teams that consistently make the playoffs, you have the luxury of taking the best available player, and you don't have to worry about position, you don't have to worry about a need. But when you are clearly trying to win now, and you clearly have needs, like a defensive tackle, and you clearly are in a position during the draft where you can pick one of the top defensive tackles coming out of college. That's a need that you have right now on a team that just signed a quarterback and paying him a whole bunch of money to win now. And you pick the best available or the best talent or a quarterback that you're not even going to start now. It doesn't make sense. You're rubbing, even if you want that, you're rubbing the fan base the wrong way. Because now you're telling the fan base, hey, we're not really trying to win now, but we're spending all our money on a dude that we think can win now. It's like it's fucked up. It's just like, and I don't understand what is their logic on picking Penix. What is the logic on picking him? Because you think like, oh, we're going to need a quarterback after Kirk Cousins retires. But
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But
yeah.
you can
I mean,
always get a quarterback.
this is
Every year
this,
there's quarterbacks.
this is where every year there's quarterbacks, but every year doesn't mean that there's going to be great quarterbacks. This year, what there was like fucking 4 or 5 that was all picked within the first. I think 4 picked within the first 12 picks. They said over 23 offensive players was picked first round this year, which was a new record and all of that. But again, I'm going back to the thought I had earlier of it's okay to pick somebody in the first round that ain't gonna play right away. You don't have to play right away as a first round pick. You
It's
don't
your
have to.
team. Yeah, but but the Falcons don't have that luxury. Some teams have that luxury. The Falcons don't. They don't. They won 7 games. They don't have the luxury of wasting a first round pick on a guy that's not going to contribute right away.
Well, when
That
you
they
bring
know
in
for a fact.
well,
You
when you
know, this
bring
is
in somebody who's a solid starting quarterback in this league, I don't see the problem in it, especially when you wanna bank on the future with this guy on your bench. Like, I don't see a problem with it.
but what I'm saying is like this guy is not going to start at all. We know it. He don't have no chance at starting unless, God forbid, Kirk
Which
Cousins
is
goes on the field.
fine.
Right? Yeah, but you could have drafted a defensive tackle, which you need, which can start sometime during the season. You can develop and probably can start sometime during the season, depending on how he does at practice and be good. And he can contribute right now to a need that you have. You got a guy that you don't need that has no chance of contributing. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't understand the logic in that. Yeah, we planning for the future, but we planning for the future, but we spent our money on trying to win now. That's what is coming off to me as.
Yeah, no, see, here's my thing. I am not in disagreement with you. I've never once said I disagreed. I'm just personally finding the logic behind taking somebody number one like that. I see it. I see it. Others don't. From my point of view, is because I think people think because you draft number one, you're trying to draft a day one starter. And that shouldn't have to be the case. That shouldn't have to be the case. That used to not always be the case. Just because you drafted them first round, there was years. This play. I would have to sit back and really, really look over some of these names. I didn't pull my laptop out, so I ain't prepared fully. But there's years where there's plenty. I mean, and it goes really to back in the day. We're talking like 90s, 80s, shit like that, where you're a first round pick. Sometimes, yeah, rookie, your ass is riding the bench. Maybe eventually you got into the game. And then, too, let's keep it real. Like, Kirk Cousins has been healthy in recent years, but he has an injury history also. So, yeah, you invested all that money into a guy who's supposed to be your starter, hopefully there for the whole season. But if he gets knocked out, now you got somebody who is first round pick talent stepping up. And if it happens later in the season, he's been at enough practices and enough, he's went through enough walkthroughs and stuff that he could have a decent grasp of the offense, enough to go in and hopefully fill a hole and keep the party going as is, because you picked
Mhm.
up somebody that you deemed first round talent. Again, forget what those quote unquote draft experts think. There's a reason why they don't have jobs in the NFL as GMs or fucking draft pickers. There's a reason. You know what I'm saying?
But my thing is, so if you don't see, but by that logic that, oh, Kirk Cousins might go down and we're gonna have a guy that come in that's first runner. By that logic, you're saying that you hitched $100 million to a man that you don't have confidence in. You kind of got a
No,
little bit, you
no,
know.
no, 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 no. What that is the game of football. You never know.
You're right. You're right.
You know what I'm saying? You never go into trying to take a pick or take a person or sign a person saying, you know what? You got all this, that, and that, but we're going to give us this insurance policy because we know you're going to go down. No, you hope the person never goes down. Now, I threw that kind of thinking in with the thoughts behind the pick of Michael Penix because he had an injury history in college. So why not get somebody who, if he didn't have an injury history, he very well had the talent to look better than a Caleb Williams. I mean, he took his team further than Caleb Williams did in college. You know what I'm saying? He could
Yeah.
have very well been a number one pick type of guy. So why not go get him? And then now the luxury is we have the luxury of keeping him on the bench in waiting, but absorbing the playbook, absorbing all the personnel, the play calls, the signals, and everything. Let this man absorb it all. And to be honest with you, because they're both going to the team in the same year at the same time, you're almost learning on the same level. It just goes to what the player ability is after that. You know what I'm saying? It kind of goes to what the player ability is after that. But you're learning on the same level, and you're learning from somebody who, one, has a ton of veteran experience. But then number two, and I'm gonna throw this in there, business wise, he could be in the back telling Michael Penix, yo, you want to learn how I got all these big contracts, son? Come sit under my learned. Let's get you paid for life, yo.
I mean, some play. Kirk Cousins bet on himself and he won, and that's amazing. I love when guys have enough confidence to bet on themselves and win. You know that's hard to do. And Kirk Cousins bet on himself and he won because he knew he was smart, man. He knew that franchise was going to be too high, and that somebody was going to bite on it. And so, kudos to Kirk Cousins. And you know what? He might you is right about that. He can tell Penny, say, listen, son, I haven't won shit, but I've made a ton of money in this league, not winning shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not, hats off to Kirk Cousins because he got his money. I don't know if he earned it. I don't know if he earned it, but he got it for sure.
Right, I'm saying. I mean, you like that. You like that. Had one fucking good moment, and then the rest of his fucking Redskin career went to shit. But
Yeah.
but again, yo, Kirk Cousins, I never thought he was a bad quarterback, but just because he never really won in the playoffs like that, that's really his knock. Is that he never really won in the playoffs like that. And but I mean, again, he played the game the right way financially. Oh, you
Mm-hmm.
want to franchise tag me? Cool, I'll take it because the quarterback position's franchise tag is always this high.
Yeah.
That franchise tag, guaranteed money. Nah, you ain't got to give me more than that. Just give me that.
Yeah.
I'm cool. That's why he'd always look like he got paid big money because he played it smart. Give me the franchise tag. Yeah, I'm going to keep us looking good, but give me that franchise tag. I'll take it. No problem. And he did that shit each and every year he fucking signed just for the most part. Sometimes he did sign for regular contracts, but sometimes he signed contracts where it was, yo, I'll take this much guaranteed. Give me that. Good business in my book.
Yeah. It is. You want to talk? You know what? We was going to talk about the NBA playoffs, right? But here's something that people aren't talking about the NBA this year that's very significant about these playoffs. Okay, so you got Denver that's about to like. I ain't saying they're gonna take the Lakers out. I'm riding with the Lakers, but as far as 3-1, it looks like the Lakers might be going right. And then you got Golden State Warriors who didn't even make the playoffs, right? You got the Suns looking like they about to be out, right? So now you're looking at it where LeBron is out, going to be out, and LeBron is on his way out the door at the NBA. Like no matter how much we love it, he's on his way out. You got Steph Curry and those guys down in Golden State, which looks like Klay Thompson might have to leave. That dynasty might be over. You got Kevin Durant, who looks like his career might like his championship chances are going down. You know what I mean? You got Giannis, who might end up being out due to injury or whatever the case may be, right? So now you got all of these top-notch stars, all of these guys that were the past and the future of the NBA for years to come, and they're on their way out, dude. And this is like the first year where it's like right in our faces that the main dudes and the main stars of the NBA are not going to be in these finals, and they might be all on their fucking last hurrah.
Yeah, I feel you. Like what you're describing to me is you're beginning to see the transition of the last generation of quote unquote greats possibly making their way out. And to me, I say such is life. It's just the way life goes. Yeah, we're talking about people who were made. I mean, we're talking LeBron. When did he get drafted? 03, 04? We've seen this man for 2 decades in the league. So, as Boys Men said, it's so hard to say goodbye. I mean, let's keep it real. The Jordan superstars are gonna be like, bye, good, get out of here, peace, good riddance. You know what I'm saying? But nah, I mean, hey, just it's such as life. Like we always are going to see a changing of the guard. And this year it just feels different because it's like, okay, LA, Anthony Davis for the most part of this season remained healthy. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people you think just because big name, they're gonna get over the hump. Your Lakers reminded you of how much you need those other pieces and other role players to succeed. You know what I'm saying? You got fucking I'm thinking right now in my head, the Timberwolves and Anthony Edwards going crazy, but Anthony Edwards also got fucking two giants. Wait, yeah, he's with Minnesota, right? So they
Yeah.
got fucking Cat and fucking Gobert, like so. But you're seeing this future star. Sorry for all the dogs, but you got the future star in Anthony Edwards developing and budgeting to where to where he's going to eventually take a next step. We're gonna see how Dallas does, but Luca let us knew who he was years ago. Fucking Jokic won the championship last year. They've already been propping him up as the best player, if not one of the best top three for like the past 2 or 3 years. Fucking MVP, all that stuff. Uh, and then it's like, yeah, we're starting to see because again, Golden State, they had their run. They had their run. And eventually everybody falls. The Bulls fell eventually. You know what I'm saying? The fucking your Lakers fell eventually. Your Lakers is just your history is so deep and rich that it's just like you always see it come in waves. 80s, 90s, things was silent, low key for them. Then 2000, Kobe, Shaq turned the page around, early 2000s. And then they went back down, and then almost to the 2010s, Kobe did it again. And then you thought AD, LeBron, they did it again. Like your team, it comes in waves. Like I'm appreciating my fucking Knicks right now because we've been down for so long. Of course, championship less since '73, but we've had highs in the '90s. We had fucking confetti thrown in what was it? I think 2007, the one year with Melo. The one year with fucking Melo. And then, the way the Villanova Knicks are playing right now, which we won today, so we're up 3-1. I you're seeing Jalen Brunson, the team that Dallas thought, yeah, we could get rid of him. Okay, thank
No,
you. Thank you.
no, no, no. It wasn't, oh, yeah, we could get rid of Jaden Brunson. It was Kyrie Irving. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, is Jalen Brunson Kyrie Irving? No. So we're not. Don't just act like Dallas was like, oh, Jalen Brunson's garbage, throw him in the trash. No, it was
No,
Jalen
no,
Brunson
I didn't.
or
You
Kyrie
put them
Irving,
words in my mouth. I never said that.
I'm
But
just
but
saying.
the way they made it look like that was an easy choice. And then now
It
but it's showing differently.
is.
Two
Yeah.
seed to where's Dallas? Where,
I mean, that's why they always say it's on paper, right? Because
yeah, yeah.
on paper, I'm jumping over three Jalen Brunsons to get Kyrie Irving on my team.
Word. I
But
feel you.
but,
He
but
got
in
a
real
track
life
record in the
now,
league.
when you look at it, it's like I know Dallas wishes that Jalen Brunson was still over there and not Kyrie right now. You know what I mean? So it's
No,
like,
word. And that ties your point. It ties into what your initial statements were, which is that youth movement of new stars that we're seeing. And it just looks like, Jalen Brunson needed this kind of change. He needed to be out of the shadows of Luca because the kid is a star on his own. He just put up 40 plus today,
yeah,
and I wanted to try to wait to talk a little bit of this game because TJ said he'll be 20 minutes about 10 minutes ago. But we're starting to see that transition now of again some of these new stars, like you mentioned. One person like we're thinking new star who he's not all the way there yet, but he was a hot flash when he came in, Trey Young. Trae Young. Some about Trae Young, but I guess it's the whole team of Atlanta overall.
I don't. Trae Young is not it for me because I just think Trae Young lacks the leadership. I just think Trae Young lacks the leadership. He's got the talent, but I just think that sometimes it seems like he's not a leader yet. I think he's got to get that lead. It's the same thing with Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant had all the talent in the world in OKC, but he couldn't get that team over the hump because he didn't know how to lead the team. He didn't have that leadership quality. He just wanted to go out, score, and play and be the best player he could be, and not, you know what I mean? And I see that in Trae Young too. Yeah, he can score. Yeah, he can do all these things on the court, but I just don't. He just needs to learn that, like, if you're going to be the man on this team, you have to be. It comes with leadership too, and that's a part of the intangibles that I just don't think Trae Young has right now.
Yeah, I could dig that, but also too, not every best player on the team has to be the leader. Because, like I said, I brought up the Knicks when Melo was there and we won that one first round game, and my team, the fucking organization, decided to pop streamers and all that dumb shit when we had Melo. But Melo was the best player on that team. He wasn't the leader of that team,
Yeah,
but he also didn't have to be the leader on that team because I mean it fell to his suit where he was able to play off of Jason Kidd, one of
well,
the
yeah,
best
well,
fucking point guards ever. He was able to play off of a Rasheed Wallace and others. Like, not every top player in the league has to
yeah,
be, Kevin Durant, when he was with the Warriors, he was the best player on that team. No if there, but there was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He was not that team's leader.
right. But here's the
But
thing.
the
So you got to
ability
be
of the others made it so to where they made it comfortable to where KD, you can do what you're gonna do. We're gonna fill our holes where needed.
But when you're on a team that needs the leadership, you see what I'm saying? There's a difference. Like Kobe. Kobe wasn't the leader of the Lakers. If you look at it, Derek Fisher was the leader of them Laker teams because Kobe didn't know how to lead because Kobe put too much expectations on his other players. You know what I'm saying? So Kobe was a leader in the sense that, yeah, he was in the gym first. Yeah, he led by example. But when it came to talking to guys, when it came to showing guys what to do, when it came to getting guys prepared and emotional, Kobe wasn't able to do that. Kobe kind of pushed guys away. You know what I mean? Kobe kind of, he didn't know
He
how to go give in. Derek Fisher
he
was the leader
showed
of
that
those teams.
yeah, he showed that just to add on, he showed that like he was too much like Jordan. And he tried to influence that Jordan mentality of, striking fear in his teammates to push them to do better. And it just happened to be in a generation that it didn't work the same.
But he didn't have to do it. I mean, he didn't have to be the leader because he had Derek Fisher, who was a veteran, who had them leadership qualities, who can talk to the other players and get them to play together. And so Derek Fisher was the leader of the Lakers team. But what I'm saying about Kevin Durant is, yeah, he didn't have to be the leader in Golden State, but in OKC, they clearly had no leadership. And so for them, I was like, Kevin Durant was supposed to be that guy then. You know what I
Right.
mean?
I see you, and it 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 was like it could have gone either way because Russell Westbrook kind of seemed like, not but just by his play, but it seemed like, no, you know what it seemed like really with that OKC team. It was everybody was trying, the two that should have been the leaders were trying to be the best individual.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where it tore down. I see you. They were trying to be the best individuals, and on some, like, I would say, AAU level shit, you put two of the best players together, and you have the third best player coming off the bench, playing phenomenal off the bench in James Harden, but yet the other best player playing off the bench when you actually needed somebody that could bring the cohesion together. I got what you're saying, but when I sit back here and sit and look at it, it was like, yeah, you do need somebody that can rein them in. You can rein them in, but like, I'm gonna repeat, it doesn't always have to be the air quotes best player on the team.
Yeah. What? So let me ask you a question though. What do you think now? What do the Warriors do now? You know what I mean? What is their future looking like? Because they're really, I don't think they're in a good space right now at all as far as like their future is concerned.
I agree with you. I think they got to really do a lot of introspective thinking and decide, like, yo, does Draymond still fit this equation? And I hate to point him out just like everybody else does, but it seems like his leadership qualities have been diminishing. You know what I'm saying? Did Steph really look like a team leader? No. Steph looked like what I just explained. Like, he looked like the guy who he was able to do what he needed to do, and you could rely on him with the big shot. But we all know in that core era of the dynasty, Draymond was the one that kept everybody in check. But the way Draymond was going this year, a lot of moments that just felt erratic, willy-nilly, if you even want to say, just he couldn't keep himself in check. You know, I hate saying the fact that though Klay Thompson was what a season or so off an injury, it didn't look like the splash brother that we grew to know. So do you keep him around? Like, a lot of people have been talking, oh, get him to the Knicks. I wouldn't mind that. He would have to come off the bench. He would have to come off the bench, and he could be that veteran shooter, veteran scorer, like a fucking Robert Ory or even a Ray Allen. Bring energy off the bench that could be automatic points. But
Yeah,
he might need to be in another equation because Steph. You don't get rid of Steph under no circumstances if you're Golden State. You know what I'm saying? He's that linchpin to money, attraction to your team. Everybody's still gonna come because Steph can shoot the fucking ball from fucking 80 feet. You know what I'm saying? Like he can shoot the ball from cross court and it goes in like he practices that shit every day. But they they just there's something about them. And I think the names I mentioned, I think it all really has to do with that core from the dynasty. Because Andrew Wiggins is Andrew Wiggins. He's a silent, he don't have to make no noise, and that man's gonna do what he's gonna do. Chris Paul, what do you do with him? You keep him around, you keep him on the bench, good possible veteran good veteran leadership here and there, but there's just something about him. There's something about it that I can't fully pinpoint and put the finger on right now.
Klay Thompson to me is a can give you 15, might give you 30 guy, and you never know. And so for a team like the Knicks, it would be perfect because he can come off the bench and he don't have to do anything. You know what I mean? Like for the Golden State, Klay Thompson is an intricate part of their offense. He has to do things. For the Knicks, him coming off the bench and not having to do anything, where this guy can just run off screens and pick and pop, that that guy can have a 30-point night without even blinking in those kind of situations. You know what I mean? So yeah, it would be more feasible for him to go to a team like the Knicks, go to a team that's already there, that just needs one more piece or needs a spark or needs a guy that can give them open threes when they need it, stuff like that. But for Golden State though, is it an issue with saying, hey, we kind of don't want to lose Klay? You know what I'm saying? Is it sentimental? Is it, hey, we don't want to lose this guy? Is it, hey, we can use a guy like Klay Thompson off the bench too? You know what I mean? So it's like they have a decision to make with Klay Thompson because they have to count on that his contract offer is going to be low, and they have to believe that maybe a team like the Knicks might not make that man offer that man more money. And they gotta also think like this: is Klay sentimental enough to stay there, or does Klay see the vision and say, "Hey, yeah, I might be on the bench in New York, but I got a chance to win there. I got a chance to contribute there, and they offer me more money." So Golden State has to kind of figure out if we're trying to keep Klay, if Klay actually trying to stay here too.
Right. Or I mean, he could easily go to your Lakers or something like that. Give LeBron another reason to stick around for another season or two. Because again, like the position that Klay Thompson is in right now, he doesn't have to be a 30+ minute a night guy anymore. He can easily, in the right situation, he could easily transition into a Ray Allen, Robert Ory. I'm gonna get you points. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm gonna get you points. I can make the big shot for you when you need it, but I don't have to be up and down the court all night.
Let's listen. As a Lakers fan, I appreciate Robert Ory, right? But let's stop. This man is not in the category of Klay Thompson ever in his career. Ever. Klay Thompson is never Robert Ory, bro. Robert Ory is not that good.
Are you getting the context that I'm putting him in? No, I
No.
am not
When you
putting
talk
him in.
about Klay Thompson and Robert Ory together in the
I
same
am
sentence,
not
I'm not
putting
getting
him
it.
in the context of somebody who is going to be up and down the court putting crazy numbers up. I'm talking about the person that you can rely on to put the ball in the hoop when necessary. Ray Allen, yes, way more comparable. Way
Yeah,
more comparable.
Ray
Way
Allen,
more
look at that.
comparable. But I bring up Robert Ory because that's what Robert Ory was kind of doing before Ray Allen. Just the games weren't the same. The games didn't match up the same. Big
Robert
O.
Ory was
What's
Robert
good,
Ory was
fellas?
7 points at the most. 7 points.
Yeah. Clay can do more. I can agree. But like I was just talking because we was talking about the Warriors and how that dynamic looks like it's not going to be able to stick around for a long time, right? So we brought up Klay Thompson, brought up Draymond. Steph said Draymond might have to go. Steph will never should leave Golden State if they're the Warriors organization. But we were hanging on Klay Thompson right now. And of course, I said I see him fitting with our Knicks perfectly because he doesn't have to be a 30+ minute a game guy anymore. He could be and I keep mentioning Robert Ory, Ray Allen type of guy that could come in, do a couple things, but be there for the big shot when needed.
Yes, I would definitely take him. Like you say, he doesn't have to start. He doesn't have to command the 30 minutes anymore. Yeah, I would take him, man, in a heartbeat. You know what I'm saying? Especially if I know he's gonna want big money, but shit, he's still top 5 best shooters in the league.
So I'm sorry, Tyrone. My comparisons that I used, because that's where right when you jumped in, this is where I was on, of using Ray Allen and Robert Ory. More comparable to Ray Allen, yes. But wasn't Robert Ory kind of doing what Ray Allen did? Not full effect, but was there the reliable person for the big shot?
Yeah, he was a hired gun. But he was clutch, man. We can't sit here and go over the times he won games, man, because it's too many. And we're talking about big playoff games. So yeah,
Wow,
even Danny Green to a lesser extent.
Way lesser.
I find it
way lesser.
No. I can put Robert Ory and Danny Green in the same sentence. I just find it kind of disrespectful to put Robert Ory in the same sentence as Klay Thompson and Ray Allen. I just don't. No, man, it's not that. He wasn't that dude. He made some clutch shots, but Robert Ory was 7 points a game at best.
I agree, but I didn't disagree with you. I never disagreed with you once again, because again, we're talking two separate caliber players. Because Robert Ory was never the man on anybody's team. Ray Allen was when he was with Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
Ray Allen was that guy when he was with Milwaukee, but then he became the fill-in role player when he got to Boston.
Let me just put it in my perspective, okay? If you got players on your team at the end of the game for the game-winning shot, you'll run up a play for Klay Thompson. You'll run up a play for Ray Allen. Robert Ory, a lot of his game-winning shots was desperation. They weren't running the play for this man. They didn't say, "Oh, Robert Ory wins the game." The best shot he ever made was against the Lakers in Sacramento was an accident. He accidentally walked into that shot. So it's not like people were even counting on Robert Horry to win those games. It just so happens that he was in the right place, right time, got the ball, made the shot.
I don't disagree with you, but there's a reason why they called him Big Shot Bob.
If he
And
made them.
even with that being said, if Klay Thompson, it's different. Yes, it's different. You can run a play for Klay Thompson, but also if you got Klay Thompson on the floor in that last minute of the game, that's a threat, just like Ori was, because at clutch times, Ori was damn near automatic. And Klay can be the same thing. That's the only. I'm like I said, I wasn't digging too deep with that comparison, but yes, the deeper comparison: Ray Allen, Klay Thompson, yes, almost neck and neck. Just Klay got more rings. That's it. So that's where you could go. Well, Robert Horry got 7 of them things, and he was a contributor to almost all 7 of them things. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Like
yeah.
he played a role in all 7 of them things. That's
Yeah.
why that's why the names came to play in mind for me. Not to a T, but to a little lowercase t. Like it fits.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
But our Knicks. It went how I called it, right?
Yeah.
I said we could give up one in Philly, but we got to get that other one. And what do we do today?
We got it. We got it, man. Us splitting the trip, man. I mean, it couldn't have gone any better. You know, we had to get at least one out of Philly. You know, and if the Philly fans make it easy, because probably about a quarter of the stadium were Knicks fans. You know, you could hear MVP chants whenever Brunson got to the line. It was crazy.
you know what the only thing that I don't like is like it's getting it's getting real chippy. You know what I mean? It's getting real chippy in Philadelphia. Like it's not. I commended the Knicks this year, like with Brunson and the way the Knicks were playing. They was playing like pretty basketball. You know what I'm saying? And now in Philly, it's this series is ugly, bro. It's real ugly. And I'm just like, why? You know what's going on that this series got to be ugly like this? Like, and you know what? People are just so hypocritical because had Draymond Green did what Embiid did the other night, they would have been
suspended.
They would have been calling for Draymond to get thrown out of the NBA. But for Embiid, it's like, oh, the Knicks been following him all the time, and he just was tired of it. And they making all these bullshit excuses for my man doing one of the dirtiest things I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
and he did it again today. He did some dirty shit again today.
What is going on, man?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's crazy to me that Embiid can get away with something like that. And for Philly, for Sixers fans that act like my man didn't try. Like for me, yeah, he on my team. Okay, if LeBron did that, I'll be like, yeah, LeBron did that shit. I would try not to talk about it. But for Sixers fans to go on TV and be like, no, that wasn't dirty. Like, get the fuck out of here.
What did he do? Because I totally missed it because I was at work and shit watching the game, and I didn't turn on ESPN or nothing during the week to really see what happened.
You talking about this game, or you talking about game 4?
No, what Tyrone was just talking about with dirty Embiid playing dirty.
Well, shit, he freaking kicked. He kneed Hartenstein a couple times in the groin. But the one play that everyone's talking about, Anunoby, and I think Anunoby had blocked the shot or something like that, or tried to get a steal, some shit. And out of frustration, Embiid falls, and out of frustration, he not only impedes but Mitchell Robinson from getting the ball, he grabs his ankles, and Robinson just happens to turn one of them and shit. He happens to roll his ankle, you know, in the process. So yeah, that's why he was missing for game 4.
I was gonna say that's part of why he was out today, but
yeah,
we were still able to overcome that without him. So,
but I mean, literally reached up with no remorse and like straight up 2-hand grabbed my man and pulled him, like attempted to like pull him down. And everybody was just like, and people were acting like he didn't, like that ain't dirty, like he didn't do that. And like he said, the knees too. Like it's you know, it's accidental knees, and then it's like, come on now, this is clear. He's clearly purposely kneeing my man in the groin, like like, what are we doing here? And
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. This series is so, for it to be so good and so close, and these teams to be so competitive. I don't like that the ugliness is starting to kind of overshadow this whole situation.
Well, I mean, it didn't really overshadow today, with the exception of we didn't have Mitchell Robinson, but I mean, today's game really wasn't that ugly. In the first fucking quarter, the Knicks had me feeling like we was gonna lose. And then it turned around. Like I said, I mentioned to you pre-show, my father drugged me out the house because my brother's here. We went up to a bar real quick to go see somebody that was our old neighbor. I'm walking out the house right when fucking Jalen Brunson turns the lead after coming back from like down by like fucking like 10 or 11. And then I was just glad every time I checked back in. Sixers was up by 2. Then we came back around, took the lead back, and we just hung in there. And it took a 40-plus point performance from Brunson, but it looked like we needed that because, like, we were shooting too many threes. And the last, like I said, when I checked early, we was like 1 for 7, 1 for 8. And I was just like, yo, stop shooting them. Though the Sixers were giving us those shots.
Yeah.
They were giving it to us. But it was like they were giving it to us because they knew we was gonna fucking miss. I felt like that whole side of the court, like there was some type of barrier, invisible barrier. That was just like, all right, we're gonna keep these niggas down.
There, yo, that second half, man. That second half, we turned it on though. DiVincenzo started hitting shots. Bryant started hitting shots. It wasn't just a one man. It was still a one man show. But yeah, man, our supporting cast, even though Hart didn't have a good shooting night, he still ended up, I think, with 10, 11 rebounds. So I'll take it, man. I'll take it. I hope
my feelings early.
And that's the thing that's the thing that I see. I see the Knicks turning it on against the Sixers. What I'm shocked about, what I don't understand is the Dallas Lakers series, because I do not see Dallas turning it on against the Lakers. I don't see him turning it on. I just see Dallas. Not Dallas, Denver. It's Denver. Okay. I mean Denver. I don't see Denver turning it on against the Lakers. I just see Denver just kind of hanging in there and doing what they do. I don't never like with the Knicks and the Sixers. You can see the Knicks turning on. You can see the Knicks get more aggressive. You can see things start to happen. With Denver and the Lakers, I watch all these games and I can't find a turning point in those games. I just see the score just getting closer, and then I see Denver pull it off in the end, and I'm like, what the fuck happened? Denver didn't turn it on. They didn't get more aggressive. They just kind of just kept doing what they was doing and just was like, fuck, we're going to win this game. It was no intensity. It was no desperation. It was just, if we play the way we play, we're going to beat these Lakers. And they just do it, man.
And the real talk, like, that's how you want your team to be. That's the makeup. That's the true makeup of a championship type team, where they know the only team that's gonna beat us is ourselves.
Yeah. You don't really want no ups and downs, man. And that's been us the whole series. Like we'll just go on a run, and then next thing you know, we're up 5, we're up 6. You know what I'm saying? Like with us though, one thing I could say, man, our defense, man. They're gonna be talking about our defense like they be talking about the Pistons defense. Not the 80s, but the ones that just happened early 2000s. That's why you always see the comparisons with this team and that team. It's just the defense, man. Like Philly had stopped scoring like the last 5 minutes. They didn't make a field goal. So and Maxey, man, is he's an all-world guard. So probably second, third best in the East. Probably about third, fourth, besides Halliburton and Brunson.
Well, here's the difference. That's why I said this is the difference between Jokic and Embiid. Embiid is a ball stopper. And the Sixers don't know what to do. When the Sixers get in those conditions where they don't score, those times where they don't score and the other team's going to run, they just go, oh no, we need Embiid. And they give Embiid the ball. But he's a ball stopper. Whereas Jokic still knows how to make the plays. Embiid stops the ball. He really slows their offense down. He stops their offense way too much. And then
Yeah,
if Embiid can't do it, they get lost, dude. They get lost.
right. But Jokic is an outlier. Like centers are not supposed to be doing what Jokic does. He's a point guard. He's a point guard at the 5 position. You know, usually when the ball goes down to the center, the center's usually at the top of the key. You know, doing a little relay pass or whatever, or he's going down there. You pass it down there to kick it back out, or you pass it down there to score. So Embiid, we can't really say that Embiid is a ball stopper because that's, you know, he's a freaking, I'm sorry, he's a freaking you know, all-star center, man. Like he knows what he's doing. You give him that ball, he's scoring. You know.
Right, but today though, like Embiid was passing that rock too when needed. And he was finding a lot of open passes. Like I said, I keep repeating myself, but he's a dude that like he took Hartenstein down off of like four dribbles, backed him down for easy points.
He need him down too.
If that man realized he could do that just about every fucking play, he could eat us up. You know, like honestly, he could that man should be terrorizing the league instead of playing from the 3-point line down.
Yo,
I don't know how many times I can say it.
Yo, he got this man in foul trouble in 1 quarter, yo. Dude picked up 5 fouls in 1 quarter. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's nice.
It's the same reason.
You can't take nothing from him.
It's the same reason why Kevin Durant at 7 foot don't be wanting to bang down low, because he's a biatch. I say all the time, Embiid's a biatch. Nah, man, it's just that's how I feel. If you that big, if you can bang down low all the time, bang down low. If you not, Embiid being at the 3-point line is a bitch ass move to me. I don't. That's how I feel about it.
For Embiid, I agree. For Kevin Durant, he's not built for that.
Yeah.
That nigga's frame, his frame is not for that. That frame, yo,
when you see Kevin Durant get a switch and got somebody like Jalen Brunson on him, and he still takes a jump shot, that's ridiculous.
No, it's not, because the nigga's 6'11", he can shoot over a little guard like Brunson.
Get that little bitch down into the hole. Get that take Brunson to the hole, please.
I can agree with you on that, because Kevin Durant has the ability to beat anybody off a dribble.
Yeah, he is a scorer.
But he doesn't. He's not his. He's a tall guy, but his frame isn't big enough to back nobody down like that.
Oh my god!
You know what I'm saying? Like he could kick my ass each and every day, twice on Sundays in basketball. But I can almost all but guarantee you, if I stood and defended him bodied up and he's trying to back me down, his frame ain't gonna budge me that much unless I move my feet. You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't have that. He doesn't have that. I'm sorry. And like I said, I don't play basketball anymore like I used to when I was younger. And even when I was younger, he could still kick my ass and with shooting and shit like that. But if he was trying to back me down, it ain't. I'm still too solid, and I'm not that solid anymore. You know, he said, Kevin Offset. Shout out to the homie Kurt. He said, Kevin Offset, Eddie Kendricks, Durant is a tall ass shooting guard. Pretty much.
Yeah. Pretty much. You know, he could do whatever he wanted in that court, though, man. He'll back down a 2 guard. You know, he ain't backing down many small forwards. He's definitely not backing down no power forwards. But then again, he doesn't have to, because he adopted that Nowitzki 1-footed jumper. You know, that's his move now, and so he doesn't need to back nobody down.
We was also talking about, what do you think about the change in the guard? Because like I was telling Dan earlier, like we could potentially have LeBron. Well, Steph Curry is out. LeBron could potentially be out. Anthony Davis is going to be out. Kevin Durant could potentially be out. Giannis, Lillard, all of these guys by the end of this playoff run could be out of here. And so when you look at that, what do you think about, like, we've really got a complete NBA changing of the guard turnaround going on right now.
Yeah, yeah. I'll be honest with you. The league probably wants SGA to be the new face, but you can't not talk about Ant-Man. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, man. The league, I guess maybe because he plays in Minnesota, he doesn't get much publicity. But yeah, man, it's between those two guys.
But see, location is a terrible excuse. Locate location actually is a horrendous excuse because Giannis became that dude in Milwaukee.
Hmm. Yeah, but you see, Giannis though has that personality, has that
Hold on.
engaging personality that everyone likes too. For some reason, Ant-Man, they're really not trying to push his brand, and I don't know why.
But here's the other thing too. The Bucks do have a little bit of a little bit more lore than than Minnesota. You know what I mean? Kareem was there. You know what I mean? They had Ray Allen there. They had some decent teams over the years. Like Minnesota is hanging their head on like Kevin Garnett, and that was so long ago that it's like,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
Minnesota has been nobody at all. Other than the Garnett years, Minnesota has been nothing. They've been like whatever. Like even if they made the playoffs, it was like first round exit. So location does still play a part in it. Like if Anthony Edwards was in New York or LA, he'd be blown up way more.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But damn, what was I thinking? Location, I mean, location is one thing. I I think culturally, aka skin tone, is playing a big factor in this too because you really see they're trying to push up their Jokic and Doncic, because we haven't had players of quote unquote white skin being up at the top of the league for so
Yeah.
long. But also too, because of their European, because they've grown up overseas, do they see them as marketable in the US because of just language? How clearly do they speak English? Not to make it sound so offensive, but that's kind of what it is. Like, how clearly do they see them? Well, meanwhile, these two guys are the best players in the league. And SGA is not even American.
Yeah.
He's not an American. So it's realistically like face of the whole face of the league label shit. Like I think they want that to be reserved for somebody who is American born, American bred, that's one of the best in the game. But then you got, like you said, you got Anthony Edwards. He's gonna have to make that team take another step forward, few
Mhm.
steps forward. I think before they
Yeah.
label him like he's that guy. He's
They
that next guy.
they on the verge of sweeping the Suns right now. So I mean,
Yeah.
he's getting there. He's going there. But also too though, if I don't know if y'all brought this up, that you don't really see the typical white guy per se in the league anymore. I mean, besides, I'm not talking about European. I'm talking about American boy, like Austin Reeves type guy. There's very few in the league now. Probably
Right.
even worse than black ball players.
Yeah, no, yeah, and I that's been I don't say it's a problem, but that's been one of those issues. Like they would love to have a quote unquote American-born white basketball player get up there. Like like it hasn't truly been seen as like one of the top since Larry Bird.
Hmm.
Like since Larry Bird. I mean Steve Nash. He's not born from here. But he was they propped him up to be that guy. What, 3 MVPs?
Yeah.
Two of them back to back?
Oh man,
And
they
that
they
was
they robbed Shaq one year.
that was terrible because Nash won MVP when Shaq like that was highway robbery. Them Nash MVPs, bro. I don't
Yeah.
care what you say. It was highway robbery, and they wanted to use the excuse, "Oh, the Suns was winning 60 games, and the Suns was the top team in the league." And I don't care. There's no way. Not any one of those MVPs would I look at Steve Nash and say he was the best player in the league. Not any one of those times, bro. And it was just so sad because Kobe had what, like one season, Kobe had like what, 6 40-point games in a row just to get the Lakers to the playoffs, and had an amazing year that year. And yeah, because the Lakers were down, the Lakers were the 7 for 8 seed. It was like, oh, Kobe can't get the MVP. But then you give it to a guy that really, like, Nash didn't deserve the MVP. But like you said, they were pushing Nash to be the face of the league, the man, the best player. And so that's where them MVPs came from, dog. And those are the MVPs that pissed me off the most, was when Nash got them.
Yeah.
Kurt's comment is really where I wanted to kind of go eventually in this conversation. He says Wemby will be the new Flow. His game and athleticism is crazy. That right there is the name that I personally think is like, he's the next, because he's the perfect bridge of black man who's a fucking giant, whose game is insane, but also feeds to the overseas market. So you get the best of all worlds, propping a guy up like him, quote unquote, being the face.
Yeah, but the Spurs are home though, and that's the problem. Spurs are home, and that's the problem. And you cannot be the face of the league if your team is home in April. So until
Right
the
now,
Spurs,
yes.
until the
Right
Spurs
now,
make some noise, unless the Spurs can make some noise, Wemby ain't going to be nothing but a big athletic guy.
no, true indeed. It's the potential, and with him, let's keep it real. It's eventually.
I don't think so.
Eventually he's gonna be there.
I don't think
He's
so.
gonna get there.
I don't. With what's going on now, with Minnesota, with OKC, with Golden State, still, if Golden State can put something together, they still can be potentially in it. If LeBron can get another player, or if Clay goes to the Lakers are still going to be in it. So we got a lot of teams in that Western Conference. Dallas is still in it. We got a lot of teams in that Western Conference that it may take Wemby 5 or 6 years to see a Western Conference Finals, and by that time it's going to hit all the hype is going to be gone. So I don't see Wembley being.
Well, how old is he
never
now?
getting it. Huh?
How old is he now? Like 19, 20?
And
he's got about a good, barring injury, fingers crossed, because he's built like a fucking toothpick. But barring injury, man, he got about another 15 years in the league, man.
Yeah, but you got to look at. But you got to look at. So you got to look at SAG. You got to look at Ant-Man. You got to look at You got to look at these young stars. You got to look at Luka. You got to look at all of these guys. You got to look at Jokic. You got to look at these guys and look at what. By the time Wemby gets there, what has those dudes have accomplished? You might have one of them dudes having like 3 or 4 rings and being on some other type level where Wemby ain't going to be able to overcome that.
But talking about what we've been talking about as far as transitioning and becoming the next, that next step of being that guy or those players in the league, the changing of the guard. That's kind of where the conversation's been going. Not everybody that we've mentioned, I mean, for the most part, some of the people that we mentioned were right away superstars. But Steph Curry, think about all the years prior to Golden State finally making that run. He was like, okay, we see you, but you ain't there yet. You know what I'm saying? He was, okay, we see you, but you ain't there yet. Kevin Durant, okay, we see you. You had OKC up 3-1, but then you failed. But then I'll still to this day say he made the best business decision in moving over to do what he had to do to cement his legacy. LeBron James, different story. He's had a lot of ups and downs in his career, but had a consistent long ass run of making finals once he did, but it took a few years to get in. Not everybody is going to be that right away. Just like it goes back to the NFL draft talk. Just because you drafted somebody number 1 doesn't mean they have to be a day 1 starter. And recency shows not everybody's a day 1 starter. Before you go, let me get to this point. Kurt said media was boosting the Greek and the Joker before their rise. That they were, because those guys helped aid into growing a European and overseas market.
Hey Dan, Steph Curry kind of makes my point a little bit though. Look at Steph Curry, right? And look at everything that Steph Curry accomplished. And yet, Steph Curry still battles with being the face of the league because of LeBron still being in the league and LeBron still playing at a high level. Because of Durant still being in the league and Durant still playing at a high level. Steph Curry had a lot of accomplishments before Durant even came to their team. But when Durant got there, the team was Durant. It was all about Kevin Durant when they won those championships and those MVPs. So it's like Steph Curry, even in all his accomplishments, is still struggling right now to be considered the face of the NBA. So
Right, but
that's my
Jamal,
whole
you
point.
kind of caught on to what we're talking about. Does it truly even matter being the quote unquote face of the league?
No, not yet. That the face of the league is usually a title that's given to folks by sports media, whether it's their time, whether they're worthy of it or not. It's a way to sell tickets or to try and create hype around a player. But no, I, I wouldn't. If I was a player, I wouldn't worry about being the face of the league. Just worry about winning.
Right,
You
right,
know what I mean?
right.
So I mean, I know we all can see what the future is. There's a talented future. You got Wemby, Chet, SGA, Anthony Edwards. I mean, which one of those got Luca still around? Which one of those guys is going to be the face of the league? Who knows?
Like
So
Ed said, Luca been playing pro ball and winning at high global levels since he was 15, 16
Yeah.
years old. The advantage of Euro hoops using a soccer paradigm as opposed to the American way of AAU and one and dones.
Like I said, man,
that's right.
I always, I
AAU
always,
has been killing talent. Yeah.
I've always said that, man.
Yeah.
Like
Marvin.
we need to raise that freaking age limit and get away and do away with the one and dones, man. You know, because these kids they come into the NBA and they don't know basics. You know,
No.
they don't know the basic
But that's and
yeah,
again, I'm going to still disagree with that because the basic fundamentals are supposed to be taught in high school. College is supposed to help transition, but even the college game is so far different from the NBA to where the players now that run through the AAU system, they're learning like some base fundamentals for individual play in their trainings, in their one-on-one sessions that parents pay for, shit like that. But it goes back to the essence of the team ball aspect.
right.
And even in the college level nowadays, like some teams, I mean, we've been seeing teams win. Shouts out to UConn. You know what I'm saying? UConn is team ball. There's not one player overall that you look at that is like, but you bring it back to like, I'm bringing up Melo again. You bring up Melo. Melo was that guy who was able to put the whole Syracuse University on his back for a damn championship.
Mm-hmm.
And that what does that do? He was a one and done too, but that doesn't, so I mean, one anomaly out of another five. It almost, in some respects, it still doesn't make sense for if you are the top of the top NBA prospect, why are you going to college? You don't have to go to college. And I like to also fall back to the point of, the regular workforce, you can start working like an adult at 18. You could get sent to the military at 18 or possibly 17 when you finish high school. 17 about to turn 18 when you finish high school. NFL is the one game where it's different. You need a man's body. You know what I'm saying? Basketball is different.
I gotta disagree because the fact of the matter is I still got kids in high school and you got kids in high school and you don't see what it is because I see what it is. There's no fundamentals being taught until you get to college, okay? There's none. The high school basketball team is basically we got one kid that can do all that freaky shit and can score the ball. So get him the ball, let him do all that freaky shit. All the other kids are kind of there like collect the checks. They there to just be there to form the team up or whatever. And they don't even care about teaching this kid that's the freaky kid. They don't care about teaching them the fundamentals. This kid can score 40 points a game, we can win a high school game, that's it. And as soon as the coach yells at these kids or tells these kids they ain't doing something right or benches that freaky kid, he's fired.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So the
Yeah,
fundamentals don't
Either
even get
he's
taught.
fired or the kid is
Yeah.
transferring.
You know what I mean?
I
So
don't
the fundamentals
disagree.
don't even get taught till you get to college.
I don't disagree, but that's also a part of within today's thing of because the free kid is the kid who's also a top-notch player in the AAU system, where the AAU system plays the same way. It's just a bunch of kids who are freaks, and once they get the ball, it's a whole bunch of players of teams where the ball dies in their hands.
So you want to put that kid at 18 in the NBA thinking that he's the shit and then have him fall on his face?
Tyrone,
I don't like that.
I didn't say everybody. I didn't say everybody. And shouts out to Kurt say he said pause on the freaky kid. but
You know what I mean, bro?
no, and Jamal, it's because we already know it's not everybody. Not everybody is fucking what's his name? Moses Malone. Not everybody is a Kevin Garnett. Not everybody is a LeBron James or a
It's
Kobe
very
Bryant.
few.
There's
It's
a very
so
yeah.
minimal.
So no matter how you put it, it's not like you're getting 100 kids that are gonna come out at 18 years old of high school to be the best of the best. That's
But-
not gonna happen. You're only gonna get a few.
But Dan, that's also to add to this argument, the whole transfer portal thing situation, when the kid feels as though he doesn't get him any starts or he's not getting the ball enough or whatever. The first thing he doesn't put in the work. He's like, oh, it can't be me. So now I want to go into the transfer portal.
Well, I mean, I see that as just like in the pro leagues, player empowerment. If I came over here to be this guy, you as a coach gas me up saying I'm gonna be this guy, and then when you don't make me the guy, somebody else shines on me, then why not? And that doesn't mean they got the free right to just get anywhere. But I'm gonna get to Ed's point because it goes valid. He said European basketball players and soccer players. If you're that good, you're playing pro ball right away. If you fail out, even at that young age, that's Darwinism. Says seeing a 16-year-old play championship league soccer or EuroLeague hoops is common across the pond. Absolutely. But again, that Jamal, that doesn't go to everybody.
It doesn't, and it's different. Ed brings up a good point, but it's different because the NBA is still the best basketball on the planet. It's just getting now the best players from those leagues. And so it's still a different game between turning pro in the world leagues and turning pro at a young age as a kid in the NBA. Is still a different game. It's still different.
Different game.
No, you're playing against Titans now when you're in the NBA.
But different game.
But do you not see the season?
When you're playing, hold on.
You can still
Different
see the
game.
seasoning.
That's what I was about to add on, Tyrone. Different game, but you get a different level of season because you're banging with adults.
But that was my second point, was that at least those kids in the Euro thing, they're playing against men and getting better right away, where the phenoms local here in our country are going right from the small pond to the sea with the sharks. And it's and that's going to eliminate only the select few right away and never a chance. And who knows if those kids had seasoning, how many more could have made it by not being thrown right in the deep end of the pool. Which goes back to what Ed was saying is that we need a better league than it's like this, like what Barkley said. But anyway, that shit's too funny. Anyway, bro, it's just they're getting better. They're getting better fundamentals and better training overseas. So by the time they get to the league, they're better suited to playing it. Where a lot, we probably lost a ton of potential NBA stars by having them do the one and done and come to the league and washing out.
Yeah,
true.
Because right now, they're probably getting better basketball coaching in those mid-major schools, and those schools And those schools, they're learning team ball. Those guys are playing better. You're getting a better basketball education there than you are
True.
at like the top schools now. Look at Kentucky. Who knocked out Kentucky out the tournament this year?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, my point. Right. Why?
I,
Because them kids were playing against men,
I
against
don't
players.
I don't disagree with nobody. I
Mhm.
just still just because the way the crooked ass NCAA is and the way college basketball has been in recent years, it doesn't make sense for everybody. But and then again, you have to be best of the best. You're not just gonna be Joe Blow that thinks that they're a top 50 recruit and assumes that they're gonna make it in the NBA just because hey, ESPN said I'm a top 50.
So let me ask you: you think there should be like a? And I'm even debating myself about what I'm about to say because but I'm gonna say it. You think there should be like an oversight committee that basically is like judge, jury, and execution, whether Dan Dinkins wants to go into the NBA early at 19 or whatever the case is. Should somebody be up there and say, you know what? No, you're good enough to go. You're not good enough to go. You need to stay. I mean, some type of oversight to say, to stop this because
Well, I think they do
You
have
can't, man.
evaluators for that. I think they have
Yeah, but
evaluators for that.
that shit is going to be so subjective. And then which governing body controls that? The NCAA or the
right,
NBA, right?
right,
And then now you're getting something that's subjective, and also you get into a position where you're telling somebody they're not able to work. And
And then
legislator,
and then and then
what
it's
they go, yeah,
also kind of crazy because you got to be
exactly.
careful because there's still politics involved. It's still
mm-hmm,
politics involved, right? So
yep,
what happens when the committee tells Bronny James, no, you're not, you got to sit down, kid, you're not ready to go to the NBA. You know what I mean? Or what happens when the committee tells Bronny James he can go to the NBA and we all know Bronny not ready. You see what I'm
mm-hmm,
saying? So the politics in that would be crazy
Right.
because of people like Bronny James and people like and kids that are making this NIL money that are making millions and millions of dollars in college to be told that they're not going to the NBA, they're fucking the bag up for all these companies that gave them all these fucking endorsements. Now it's like, no, we need that kid in the league. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
that's kind of fucked up, but that's the way it is.
It's a slippery slope, man.
The NCAA is a legal business cartel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yo, remember a couple of years ago? Remember a couple of years ago, they had like the women's um March Madness teams, the women's college basketball teams that were I think they were in Indianapolis. They showed the tent, their little green room or whatever, and it was like a couple of weights and
Yeah,
shit,
yeah,
and
yeah. That was during the bubble. That was
yeah,
during the COVID years. Yeah, they got shit on. But I'm sorry, I had to respond to a message, but I wanted to get to the Ed's comment, and then I want to go back to something that the Block Radio Curtis had mentioned. But Ed said the NCAA is an illegal business cartel disguised as an educational nonprofit living off the labor of 18 to 21-year-olds.
yeah,
This is a point that I've been making for years on this show, back when it was just JP and I. I've always felt the NCAA needs to be abolished. That's why I'm thankful for shit like the fucking the NIL deals and all that, because
Yeah.
these kids are employees. These kids are
yeah.
employees.
What
But
you what Here's
Kurt
the thing though,
said,
dude.
go ahead.
What you gonna do about it? Because the fact of the matter is, if you don't have the NCAA, then all of these kids that get out of high school that want to go to the NBA have no way of showcasing their talent. They have no way of getting to the league if the NCAA doesn't allow them to play college basketball there.
You no, here's what you're mistaken. It's not the fact that the games are being played. It's that the organization is just as crooked as fucking FIFA.
And they know that these kids, when you have a necessity, you can do whatever you want to the people. That's just the way business is run. The,
Who
the
says that's right?
NCAA, the NCAA is a necessity. It's not right, but they know that they're a necessity, so they can say, "Fuck you." If you don't want to come, that's fine. But see how you get to the NBA without us. See how that's going to work out for you. So yeah, they can do some fucked up shit because we need them. The basketball players need the NCAA. So they kind of got them by the balls a little bit. You know what I mean?
To a point, but that's why I said I appreciate that they got the NIL situation because they can now make money.
Yeah, but it's
You
fucking
know,
up the
and
league.
like Ed said, I'm gonna get back to Kurt's question, but he said the NBA uses the NCAA as a free minor league system. Fuck that. Fuck that. But Kurt asked a question I want to go in on before we get to our main topic of not everybody could sit with us. But Kurt asked, what if HBCUs kept the best of the top black players in the nation? Here's the problem. Here's the problem with that. It sounds, I mean, we black. I would love to see the advancements of HBCUs, right? But unfortunately, HBCUs outside of being black colleges, them facilities and amenities and stuff like that are important to these kids. They like, and it's not that it's important, like in reality's sake, but some of them kids make it a priority to go to some of these schools where their NIL money, their the sponsorship money they can make can be that more of immense because of the reach that they have. The facilities themselves, they're not up to par with some of these bigger schools. Now,
Right.
yes, the lateral to this all is if some of these kids started going there, then maybe the money will funnel that way. But you got to get these kids to want to go there in the first place.
Them NIL deals allow for those boosters to buy these kids even more because the booster now can go, hey, let me start up. I got a business that I own. I can just put this kid under a business contract and tell him, hey, I'll give you $1 million NIL to come to my school, and that's it. And they done
Right,
bought that.
right,
So
right. No,
you can't.
that's a part of what I'm saying. But when it comes to HBCUs as a whole, it's that plus again, some of these facilities just ain't up to snuff compared to some of the big, as we would say, PWI schools. But all in all, what are you give what else are you offering to entice these kids to get there? And it's a hard and harsh reality that HBCUs they have to deal with this shit. They
This is
got to face those facts.
this is all they offer. Fight the power. It's a black school. Come on.
It ain't enough, man. Days is over.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
I mean, Ed Reed blew the lid on the whole thing a couple of years back, man. When he went to that school, to be their new head coach, and was like, yo, this shit is deplorable here. And I've gone to he was like, yo, I've gone to administration numerous times. You know what I'm saying, to clean up these and they just refuse to do it. So when kids hear stories like that, they're like, I don't want to go to the school. I mean, yeah, of course I want to, of course you have your parents, some of your parents backing you, saying, how important HBCU schools are, but yeah, kids don't want to go through that shit. They don't want to. They're gonna want the Miami University facilities and the North Carolinas and the Kentuckys and the Florida States and the Alabamas. That's what they want. When the shit rivals the NFL or an NBA compound.
Where Kurt said, when Amazon or Microsoft opens a university, it's a wrap. Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos will be able to buy up everybody. They'll be able to buy everybody. But even with being able to buy up everybody, that don't mean you always get a seat at our table. Now, TJ was supposed to be here for this because he wanted to go in on this. But Coondace Owens. And this is funny that this was supposed to be a topic today because I was listening to one of our old episodes and it happened to be an episode where we transitioned the Coontace clan into the Hall of Ignorance. Now, Jamal, you were around. You might remember the Coontace Clan or the Hall of Ignorance, where we inducted people into these illustrious groups because of being ignorant, dumb, stupid, and we all know the word the N word, if you want to say. Even I've been saying it all show, but it didn't separate to just black folks. I don't think we've entered this woman in, but without even asking y'all to bring this back, here's a new induction to the Hall of Ignorance. It's Coondace Owens, or Candace Owens, if you want to call her by her actual name. But it's been a run recently where it seems a lot of black platforms, major platforms, have been giving her a seat at their table. And so a lot of this, we wanted to ask the question, Jamal, why? And do people like her even deserve these seats anymore?
The short answer is no. She doesn't deserve it. Two, who owns these? I know they're black platforms, but who actually owns it? That's the other one. And then you got folks who are thinking about their pockets more than their people. And I mean, I get it. This is a capitalist country, but she should have a home nowhere. She should have a home nowhere because she dared the place she was to fire her, and they did, and they displaced her. While she was on those platforms, she was doing everything she could and can to kick down her own people and disparage her own people, and she was doing it on the daily on Twitter. And she's the fact that she should have no platform right now. If she wants to create her own and spew her hate, let her do that. More power to her. But the fact that she's getting a spot on these black platforms to continue to run her mouth and play victim, but nobody is checking her on all the shit she has said the last 6, 8 years and bringing it up and making her have to answer for it. It's disturbing, but sometimes it's self-sabotage, man.
Tyrone, now you said you had a lot to say on this too, outside of
What
TJ.
I because Amanda Seals said that she doesn't understand why Candace Owens is being welcomed, and she doesn't understand why Candace Owens has a seat at these black tables, and she's welcome into these spaces. And my thing is, I don't think she's welcome into these spaces. I really don't think that she's welcome there. I think that, like Jamal said, these people are bringing Candace into these spaces because it's a way for them to get to another space. You know what I'm saying? It's like I said, that's why I posed the question: could Candace Owens come on our show? And the reason why I said that was because we're low level. We ain't where we want to be as far as like views and viewership and people and whatever. And I do feel like if Candace Owens
I
was
almost said
allowed,
Kevin Owens.
yeah, no,
I'll bring Kevin.
you know,
Kevin Owens could come on the
no,
show.
I'm just saying. So if Candace Owens was allowed to come on to our show, if she just agreed to come on to our show, there's a part of me that says, let her come on. Because guess what? How many eyes is going to be on that show? How many people is going to watch it? How many views are we going to get on that show? And it doesn't even have to be about her, because I know that between you, between Jamal, between O, between TJ, between myself, one of us or all of us or three of us or a combination of the platter is going to say something that may intrigue some of these other people. So if we get 1 million views, 300,000 of those people might be intrigued by some of the things we say, which might lead them to come to some of our other shows. You know what I'm saying?
I
And
I
so at that
I see
point,
what you're saying,
that's the concept. It's not that she's welcome here, it's that she can uplift us without even knowing that she's uplifting us.
but here's my point behind this, Jamal. I'm gonna let you go, but
Mhm.
as I've said from almost day one with this shit, with a person like that, no, because not all views are good views. I understand this is a game of traffic, this is a game of numbers and things like that, but also integrity plays a part in this shit. And though I know for a fact we would ask that dumb bitch the tough questions, she doesn't deserve our thing. And like Ed was saying here, and I'm gonna go to you, Jamal. The
Mhm.
thing he actually made a couple comments, and let me get through the comments, and then I'll get to you, Jamal. He said the thing about Candace Owens is she creates traffic for these platforms, and so long she produces clicks, she will continue to be invited to these platforms, but not here. I'll just tell you that now. A show, a show like the Breakfast Club having Candace Owens on the show, excuse me, draws the Joe Rogan audience. Kurt said Candace Owens eats unseasoned fried chickens. Fried chicken, Solo voice. I can't do Solo's voice. It's an old school Howard Stern school of media that all news that draws views, traffic is good news. It's a money grab by many of these platforms. And that's the thing. Yes, I know she could pull numbers here to us. I don't want those numbers because it's going to bring the wrong crowd. That could also bring us even further down. That's why I'd rather to grab it the organic way and struggle the same way we've been for almost a freaking decade compared to what Jamal.
No, I mean, I kind of said the similar thing that Ed put there, and I get it. It's about who owns the platform she's on. That's one. That's how she get. It may be a black platform, doesn't mean it's a black-owned platform. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So the traffic that she drives, if it's going to generate numbers, it's going to do it, and that's fine. If you're going to bring her on, my problem is don't bring her on and softball her. You know what I mean? Don't bring her on and not ask her to stand on some of the crazy shit she said. Just no softball interviews. That's it. You know what I mean? If you're going to bring her on, don't yuck and joke like and try and make it seem like
Yeah.
she is not a money grabbing psychopath. You know what I mean? Ask her, make her stand on what she said.
And that's my
Bring up the shit that she said.
and that's
That's all.
that was my point here. That if we bring Candace on our show, we're not going to look down on her because we're going to stand on business over here. We're not going to bring her on and let her spit her bullshit or kiki kaka. We're going to stand on business. And she might even get frustrated and be like, you know what, fuck you guys, I'm out. And she might leave, or she might, but she's going to, if she comes on the Starting Five phase, if she comes on the Starting Five podcast, that bitch is going to land flat on her fucking face. We all know that. We all know we're going to eat her alive.
Tyrone, here's the thing. Yes, she'll land flat on her face right there, right? But here's the thing. We can lose people. We can lose the people that we didn't have already off the top because they'll say, why did these niggas let her on the show? I'm not fucking with that.
I'm not saying
You could let her on the Lisper podcast, but she ain't never coming on here.
I'm not saying that I want to. I'm just giving a perspective. I'm not saying that I want to, but I'm just saying that if we got her on our show, how would it look negatively upon us if she came on our show and we stood on business?
Listen, we would lose viewers just by them going on to YouTube or Facebook or whatever and seeing the Starting Five podcast with Candace Owens. They'll stop fucking with us. They won't even listen. So that's also a possibility.
Ed said, ironically, the person who put the most pressure on her to stand on business was Joe Rogan, which is wild that Rogan pushed her harder than Charlemagne.
First of all, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to continue to say this. The Breakfast Club is fucking clowns. The whole show is clown shit. Like, these dudes ain't real dudes. They don't never stand on business, dude. These guys are about the bottom line. They're there to make money. They're there to be clown-ass niggas. Like, they not... Like, I don't know why people even bring them up. They don't bring people on their show to be legit, stand on business, interview people, uplift or nothing. They bring people on their show to do clown shit, to spread rumors, to do gossip. Why do you think Jess Hilarious is the new host? Because she messy. Why do you think Charlemagne lasted so long on that show? Because he's messy, bro. These is not black people that's uplifting. These is not people that's really journalistic or doing anything. They messy over there. I don't even know why anybody want to be on their show.
Charlemagne, I'll give it up to him because he's uplifting in different ways because he puts people in positions in the background. The Breakfast Club shit is the face, the cover that granted him all the access and the ability to do what he does outside of there. but he puts people in positions elsewhere. But this part right here is why I would say no, even though they'd be like, I wouldn't, she probably wouldn't come on our show anyway because we don't get numbers or whatever. But you'll get hate views against you. This is, and it's not hate videos, not hate views, but hate videos, because you know how people do. There's people who get fucking hundreds of thousands of views on shit who just go back and review other people's shit to make content for themselves. Instead of just making your own organic content for yourself, you're going back and reviewing other people's pieces of shows and then running with that. And that would happen to us. It wouldn't bring us positive. It wouldn't bring us the positive shit that we want. I mean, we like pushback. We push back against each other all the time. Paul is not in that kind of way. But you know what I'm saying? We give pushback all the time within our own conversations. People like that would be more suited for a conversation with on this platform. Bringing a coon like her, or he mentioned Jason Shitlock in the comments. I'm not even gonna bring his name. He said Jason Shitlock enters in the chat. Still one of the only black men I want to actually go toe to toe with some gloves on. But nah, people like that don't deserve platforms on small market or even major market shows.
But that's the thing,
Go
though.
grow your own shit, like Jamal said. Go grow your own shit.
And if she guarantees, if she guarantees a million views, shows is gonna take that chance. That's why I said she's not welcome there. They may not welcome her there, they may not want her there, but them million views, and they feel like, and like I said, the average is this. Let's say you get a million views, and 100,000 of those people continue to fuck with you. That's 100,000. So the risk versus reward is high for people who don't have that moral compass to say, "Hey, I don't want her on my show." And that's why I'm saying she's not welcome in these places. She's getting in those places because the risk versus reward for those people who have low moral compasses, they don't give two shits about what she's gonna say. And that's why when she gets on those shows, they don't stand on business because they brought her there for their reason.
That's the difference between us and them. Besides the numbers aspect, we have a moral compass here, and that's the difference. But like Ed said, Jamal, the Breakfast Club had no problem putting Mayor Adams on the hot seat. Diversity, so Coondace, not so much. But here's the difference, Ed. Here's the difference,
I
Ed.
know what you're saying. Go ahead. Yeah.
They brought somebody in to get at Mayor Adams because they knew they weren't qualified to do it.
Not only that, that was a reaction to the candidates. They got a lot of pushback for not giving her any flack. So when they brought Mayor Adams on, they decided to push the thing. Also, they may want to have Coondace Owens back on. They don't give a fuck about Mayor Adams. So,
and Mayor and Eric Adams,
he may be a one and done. Yeah.
But Eric Adams is been the one mayor. Honestly, I he ain't the best mayor, but I give it up to him here. He makes himself available for all media. He's on WBLS at least a few times a month, consistently scheduled. Because at least if you, I mean, they don't truly throw the hardball questions at him, but he will be there to step up and answer the questions if the hardball questions are thrown at him. Yeah, that's the difference. And with Breakfast Club doing what they did, let them bring in. So if they didn't feel qualified to step up and throw questions at Eric Adams, now this time you bring Coondace Owens and Amanda Seales face to face in that same studio.
Oh no.
But Jamal, and Tyrone blew up, but as what I'm saying wrong.
Amanda Seales gonna move some furniture in that room, bro. Like shit.
But again, Jamal, if you're gonna do that, and you felt you wasn't qualified to talk to the mayor, what makes you qualified to talk to that dumb bitch on your own?
They didn't win.
It's just these type of jobs used to be reserved for journalists and folks who went to school. So now everybody got a show without that type of training just because they have a good personality or they quick-witted, and you see, Shannon is great, but that interview with Amanda Seales and Shannon was a little rough. It felt like she was a little too fast of a thinker for him. It just seemed weird that interview was off. You know what I mean?
I
But again, yeah.
we always talk about this is what bothers me about it. We talk about these black men and we talk about protecting black women, and we talk about how Shannon comes in there and told Amanda right before she started the interview, this is a safe place for you, and then he made it unsafe. She talked about how she was treated racist as a child, and he's like, well, did you think that you misunderstood what the teacher was trying to do? Everything she did, he combated her. And then he goes, I'm not being combative. And then he hit her with the but. You know what I'm saying? Like even when she
I
said she was
understand.
like, even when she said she was diagnosed with autism, Shannon still said, are you just saying that because you think differently from other people? She literally said she was clinically diagnosed with it. And my man still questioned her on it. It was like,
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. Like the way you described it now I'm more intrigued to actually watch and or listen to that episode
Yeah, I
to
can
to
watch.
see how it comes off, because sometimes, like, I mean, Shannon is an intelligent brother. He's a good dude. You can tell if you ever seen his shit how prepared he has to get for an interview. Like
Mhm.
a show like us, like honestly, we see how we do every week. We don't need that much preparation. And even with it said trying to interview people, we wouldn't need that much in freaking preparation, because whoever we're trying to interview, we're going to have a base knowledge and or know enough about them that if you carry basic conversation, you can get those things.
no,
So from a
no,
person like Shannon asking, like, I look at, I'm not calling him this at all, but sometimes you can think ignorant Southern upbringing that it may feel new to the person. And the only way they know how to express getting it out is just bringing it direct like that and bringing it to the other side. So if I'm kind of giving them a pass in some sort of way, you could take that as such. You know what I'm saying? You could kind of take that point as such. But to ask the yeah, but it helps bring the conversation out and to
no,
get a
man,
little deeper in what, where, why, and how behind her.
no, we
You know what I
can't.
mean?
You cannot. Certain people you cannot, man. We could not bring Amanda Seals on our show and not do no kind of prep for her. She's not that kind of person. And like Jamal said, Shannon was not prepared for what that woman was going to say. And the only way he knew how to do it was to come back, because he's coming from First Take, he's coming from Undisputed, he's coming from shows where he has to like bring out the other point of view. And this was an interview, and it felt like it was an episode of Undisputed or First Take, where everything she said, he had to be the counterpart, had to produce the other argument. And he didn't make it didn't seem like a safe space for her. It seemed like
Oh,
he was trying to shut her down.
oh,
Yeah,
he kind of conducted the interview the same way with Cat Williams,
yeah,
giving a lot of pushback on a lot of stuff that Cat said because of yo, I'm friends with these people. Are you sure about, he was giving
Yeah.
that vibe too.
yeah. The one thing about Shannon's show that I guess we all enjoy is that it comes off real conversation. You know what I'm saying? This doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like a 60 minutes interview. Whereas it was, the interview is real stuffy and it's real. Nah, it comes off like, okay, we're having a couple of drinks, we're having a conversation. I didn't see the Amanda Seals. I only saw clips of it. So I don't really know. I know the Cat Williams episode. I watched that in its entirety. I enjoyed it, and I don't know. I mean, Cat Williams was able to hold his own. Maybe Amanda Seals felt otherwise. Like, as a matter of fact, I know she did, because she went back on her Instagram page and was dissecting the interview. Talking about how she felt. She basically that she was not in a safe space. So yeah, it was two interviews and two different outcomes, but it was the same style of interviewing. That he had with Cat Williams is what he had with her.
Yeah, but the thing is too, if man on man, that's number one. So men do not require protection from other black men. We don't really care about pushback. We don't really care about being argumentative. We don't really care about the fight. So when you're a man and you talking to another man, you talk differently to a man than you talk to a woman. So that's number one. She's a woman. And number two, Cat Williams is like a clown. You know what I mean? Cat Williams is like it's not. He's not on that level. Amanda is coming in. She was telling Shannon, I'm versed. I've been acting. I've been in this world. I've been in entertainment since I was a child. I'm multi-talented. I sing. I dance. I write. I do all these things. I act. I'm a comedian. I do all these fucking things. I have all these things. I also have college classes, credentials, journalism awards. I've been in radio. I've done all these fucking things. So Shannon needs to know this woman is about her business. This woman is prepared, and you cannot combat her because she's not to be played with. And so that's what I'm saying. It goes back to Shannon not knowing what he was dealing with.
Shannon was in deep waters. He was in deep waters.
Yeah. I could give it up on that. I could give it up on that because it's said, like we said, it's a lack of preparation thing, especially for a person like her. But like I'm gonna stand on my business, Jamal, and still say us here at the Star 5, like we're familiar with Amanda Seales, but would we go in the background and brush up on some things? Absolutely. But we would still be able to carry said interview as conversation with respect, with still being able to push on certain things if needed to be pushed.
Yeah, it just may be, Amanda Seales is a difficult interview. She's got a lot to say, and it just it just might have been too much. I mean, you're gonna have those shows. Shannon is on point for just about every other interview he's on, and I get it. His default, because how sharp Amanda is, was to play devil's advocate, and you can't do that with every single point she's making. You got to hear what she's saying, and I just don't think he could process as fast as she can. I don't know. Most people can process as fast as she can, and she been carrying a whole lot of feelings for a minute. So now that she had gotten an opportunity to speak on a platform, she came there ready. You know what I mean? So I don't want to say that Shannon's not qualified or she's a difficult interview, man. She's a difficult interview, and it needed somebody more experienced.
Ed said Shannon is not prepared to spar with someone who can actually counterpunch. It's not who he is. Steel sharpens steel, and he sharpened his blade with silly putty named Skip Bayless. You put your glasses back on. He damn near called him boy, nigga, all that in one fucking sentence. You put your glasses back on. But point of all this is once again, even on those platforms, not everybody can sit with you. Not everybody should sit with you. Not everybody needs an extension. Like Jamal said earlier, like a woman like Coondace, fuck that. Create your own platform. Go do your own shit. It happened to Tommy Loren. Who the fuck knows where she is now? But when she was the white blonde media darling that pushed back on everything black and then started to get fired from places, she had to try to go do her own thing. Who knows how successful that is now?
I think she's
you know
on
what I'm
Fox.
saying?
And she had beef with Coondace too. They beef with each other.
Yeah. So it's like go do your own thing, man. And black media outlets, start smartening up. If you're gonna let the enemy in, at least know your enemy.
Yeah, that's a fact. Ebro in the morning would never have her on the show.
No. And that's my point. Like she's not, like I said, those black platforms that are letting her on, I don't think she's welcome. Like Amanda said, why is she welcome there? I don't think she's welcome there. I think that they have an agenda, and she does what their agenda is for, and they go, okay, we're gonna bring her in. We got an agenda, and once we get accomplished, we need to get out of her. We just send her on her way and let her go head on. Does it look like you're welcoming to her? Yeah, it did. It looked like the Breakfast Club welcomed her in. They had her arms wide open for her. But I don't think as black people, I don't think you can. As black people, I don't think you can genuinely welcome that woman in. So when I see her on these black platforms, I don't say they welcome them. I say, oh, they need some views. Oh, they need some money. You know what I mean? I don't see them as like, oh, come on in, they on Coondace side. I see them as, they trying to boost those. Them ratings went down last week. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at the shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they in the numbers. They're in the numbers game of the upper echelon of this shit. And like I said, we need numbers here, but we don't need those numbers.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Well, we're done. Jamal, you were late. You were last. You know what to do.
All right. Shout out to them Knicks. Number one, first and foremost, with a tough win. Shout out to the city of Philadelphia, city of brotherly love, for extending all those tickets to the Knicks fans to make it a home game for us. I appreciate that. Peace to the starting five, to Mayor, Lisper, Big O, TJ. Peace to Ishtar. Peace to disabled players. Peace to Ill Magic. Toss it over to O.
Man, yo, great show, man. Love chopping it up, man. With these topics, man. Shout out to starting five. Shout out to you guys, man. Mayor, Lisbeth, Jamal, TJ, wherever you are. Yeah, man. Yo, can't wait for next week, man. Pass it up to Tyrone.
Yeah, good show. Shout out to Starting Five. Somebody said in the comments that the Lisper wants Amanda on the show. Fucking ain't right. I want Amanda on the show. Not to say that these guys ain't handsome, but shit, they don't look like that. I'm saying, and Amanda, if you listening, if you ever hear this, I'm telling you, come on the Star Five show and you can say whatever you like. Hey, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? It is what it is. But good episode. Glad to be here. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to chop it up next week, but we'll talk about that another time. But for now, hey man, it's a good show. I appreciate it. Shout out to Big O, Jamal, TJ, who didn't show up today. He had a lot to say, didn't show up, kind of pissed off a little bit, but it is what it is. Life happens. So, go
That's
ahead, Dan.
yeah, true indeed. You know, he's out there being light skinned. That's cool. Yeah, y'all know how that goes. Just being light skinned out there, but that's all good. Shout out to everybody here. Shout out to everybody rocking with us in the comments. I don't know what happened again. StreamYard did some funky shit. Maybe Facebook did it to where I couldn't connect directly to the group. So I gotta keep sharing each and every week. We gotta just share from my page to the group. But nonetheless, this shit's gonna be found, and y'all gonna be watching one way or another. YouTube, Facebook, not on Twitch because Twitch's rules, they got too many rules too. So whatever. The quest to interview every member of Wu-Tang is still on. I think this week I'm gonna hit up the One Connection via phone number. I'm gonna text the number this week to see if I can make this one happen. I'm not gonna say who yet until we can maybe get through and confirm. I was given by a good source that he's pretty good with answering the phone and responding back to people. So I was giving it through a great connect. Just leave those little clues here and there. Um, shout out to my man who gave me the connection to that. But still, if you can help us out, we want to get every living Wu-Tang member from the original 9, and then we'll go to the splinter groups. You know what I'm saying? And get the killer armies, the killer priests, the sons of man, anybody who's not locked up or deceased. You know what I'm saying? It's a big quest that we're trying to get on, trying to still make happen. Hooksrub.com, 20% off your order using the code STARTING5. The newest episode of the Wrestling Podcast is on the Star 5 podcast channels. Tyrone, you like to interrupt my closing, so go ahead.
Oh no, I'm not interrupting. I put the finger up to let you know that I wanted to say one last thing. So yeah, the price goes up though, because Dot Squad did an interview on my show, and I invited her to come back, and she hit me with you got to contact my manager. I ain't hating. Business is business, but I was saying, you know what I mean? So yeah, the price done went up on that.
Yeah, see, and those people like that, where unless it's outright from jump that we made contact through management. If we connected with you personally, and then you want to funnel me through your management, personally, me, no, thank you, because like what's the name said, it's integrity over everything, and that's where a little dose of integrity comes in. If we was able to connect on a personal level from jump, and you came on off the muscle, off your own, and now you want to push me to management, yeah, nah, no thanks. Business, the shop is closed. Business is no longer necessary. I see you when I see you. I'm sorry, because that shows you truly don't want to have no kind of personal connection. And whatever. This nigga said, And we out on this. He said, I can get you the second cousin of Don Pacino from Killer Army. And we're done. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.
All right, yo.